A 74-year-old man collapsed in his bathroom. No signs of stroke, no heart attack. His heart was still beating, but his blood had stopped moving. And the cause? Something he never imagined could be dangerous. Something he'd done for half a century. Masturbation. But it wasn't just the act itself. It was the way he did it. The habits no one ever talked to him about. I'm Dr. Edward Martin, and I've spent over 60 years working with older men, helping them improve circulation, rebuild confidence, and reconnect with intimacy in ways that don't require pills, shame, or risky procedures. From former Marines and retired executives to devoted grandfathers and quiet family men, I've seen a pattern repeat again and again. Men are unknowingly holding on to 4 masturbation habits that were harmless in their 30s, but now, after 62, have become silent threats to their health and vitality. Why does this happen? Because the aging male body works differently. Blood vessels lose flexibility. Nitric oxide, the key to healthy circulation, starts to fade. And what once felt routine may now be causing real harm, especially when you're using it as a quick stress release. In this post, I'm going to walk you through the 4 most common mistakes that gradually choke off blood flow, damage intimacy, and accelerate aging, plus simple shifts you can make to regain energy, restore function, and feel reconnected to your body again. Stick with me to the end, because the final mistake is something 90% of older men are doing without realizing it, and it could be the very reason your circulation is letting you down. And if this message resonates with you, take a moment to subscribe, turn on notifications, and drop a 1 in the comments. Your engagement helps this message reach more men who need it. Mistake number 1, rushing the experience, creating circulatory stress. This is the one I see most often, and the one that seems the most innocent. But every time it happens, it puts quiet but dangerous strain on your vascular system. I've had dozens of men, strong, capable, honest men, sit across from me and admit, I just needed to take the edge off, doc. Something quick. There's no shame in that. But what they don't realize is that this quick fix can trigger a physiological response I call circulatory panic. When a man in his 60s or 70s rushes through masturbation, his body reacts like it's under pressure. Heart rate surges. Blood vessels in the pelvic area rapidly tighten and relax. But unlike in your younger years, your cardiovascular system no longer rebounds as easily. Arteries are stiffer. Blood vessel flexibility is reduced, and your natural supply of nitric oxide, the molecule that allows blood to flow freely, is no longer abundant. And what happens next? Those sudden, forceful surges of blood have nowhere to go. Fragile veins and delicate capillary, especially in the penile region, can't handle that kind of pressure anymore. This isn't a question of morality or guilt, it's simple biology. You may not notice it immediately, but over time, this hurried form of stimulation gradually wears down your circulatory health. It causes tiny, repeated injuries. Where there used to be resilience and suppleness, there's now tension, brittleness, and breakdown. And it doesn't just show up in your body. Men begin to feel it emotionally too. Less sensitivity, slower, weaker erections, a dulling of warmth or connection during intimacy. Then comes the quiet question that creeps into their minds. What's going on with me? Many blame their age, others blame stress or bad luck. But the real cause often lies in consistent overstimulation of a system that needs gentleness and restoration, not speed and force. When you rush through sexual moments, you're sending mixed signals to your body. Instead of coaxing your nervous system into a relaxed, aroused state, you're slamming the gas pedal. The result? Restricted blood flow, a drop in arousal-related hormones, and a shaky relationship with your own body. One thing I often remind my patients: how you treat yourself in private shapes, how you function in the rest of your life. It affects how you engage with others, how you sleep, how clearly you think, and yes, how deeply you connect. True intimacy isn't just about the end result. It's about healthy circulation, presence, and emotional connection. And when you strip away that process through rushed habits, you're also chipping away at the energy and confidence that make you feel fully alive. Mistake 2. Breathing shallow, holding tension, disrupting flow from the inside. Now, here's where it gets even more eye-opening. Even the men who slow down often make another mistake without realizing eye tone that interferes with blood flow in a completely different way. If this is resonating with you so far, leave a 1 in the comments. It lets me know you're still with me and that this message is landing where it's needed most. So, let's talk about the second major habit that silently undermines sexual health in men over 60: holding tension and ignoring your breath. There's a common pattern I've noticed in older men facing issues with intimacy, energy, or blood flow. It's not just what they do, it's how their bodies react during those moments. They hold their breath, their shoulders creep up, their core tightens, and the deep muscles at the base of the pelvis, what we call the pelvic floor, become tense and rigid, almost like a clenched jaw. Most don't even notice it. They assume it's part of the experience, but it's not. This unconscious tension during masturbation, combined with shallow or halted breathing, has a serious effect. It restricts blood flow right at the source. Your nervous system thinks you're in a state of stress, not relaxation. So instead of opening up, your vessels tighten. Instead of oxygen and nitric oxide surging into the tissues, everything clamps down. And this doesn't just go away. The more often it happens, the more it becomes ingrained as a habit, and habits, over time, become dysfunctions. Let's be clear. When your breath shuts down, so does your circulation. That's not philosophy, it's basic physiology. The penis is one of the most circulation-sensitive organs in the human body. It relies on smooth, unforced blood flow, not strain, not tightness, and definitely not a nervous system stuck in overdrive. But when your breathing is shallow and your muscles are tense, your blood vessels constrict, your nitric oxide drops, and instead of fueling arousal, your body quietly shuts it down. I can't tell you how many men I've seen pause in disbelief when I simply ask, "Were you holding your breath?" They often nod, surprised because no one ever told them how vital deep breathing is to their sexual health. No one explained that relaxation through the pelvis and slow, rhythmic breaths are just as critical to strong erections as testosterone itself. And the older you get, the more your body needs harmony, not force. Misplaced tension doesn't just affect the moment, it lays the groundwork for long-term weakness in the places you rely on most. Here's the truth. If you're holding tension, breathing poorly, and rushing to finish, you're not just numbing sensation, you're teaching your body to see pleasure as something dangerous. That creates an inner conflict, a kind of silent struggle inside your blood flow system. And over time, your confidence starts to suffer, even if you can't pinpoint exactly why. Mistake 3. Daily release without rest, draining the libido tank. Now, even if you learn to breathe and relax, there's another habit that chips away at your vitality in a quieter but equally damaging way. It has nothing to do with how you do it, and everything to do with how often. It begins harmlessly enough. A daily habit, a way to relieve pressure, pass time, or feel a little bit of control in a busy or lonely world. For many older men, daily masturbation becomes a comforting ritual, something familiar. But here's the reality. After the age of 62, what once felt routine might now be depleting your body's ability to feel arousal at all. Your body has changed. It takes longer to bounce back. Testosterone rebounds more slowly, and your blood vessels, once quick to recover, now need time and oxygen to truly heal. When you masturbate every single day or even more frequently, you're not giving your system time to restore itself. You're gradually draining vital resources, nitric oxide, dopamine, and emotional drive. And the warning signs? They often show up subtly. You may feel less sensation afterward, numbness in the pelvic area, erections that arrive slower or don't last, a general sense of fatigue or emotional flatness. Sometimes, men even start to resent their own body aces if they've lost something they didn't realize they were spending. But the truth is, your body isn't broken, it's tired. I remember one man in his late 60s who confided, "Doc, I do it every day, but afterward, I feel nothing. I don't even want real intimacy anymore." That wasn't a failure of his body, it was a signal that his body needed rest, not repetition. When you constantly stimulate without giving your nervous system time to reset, You're not just dulling the experience, you're weakening the very pathways that make arousal possible. And once those signals burn out, blood flow slows, desire fades, and emotional connection gets harder to access. Veins lose their strength, connection fades, and what should be a moment of emotional intimacy becomes something hollow. Masturbation, especially as we age, should be a way to reconnect, not just an automatic routine or an escape from emotional fatigue. When it becomes compulsive or mechanical, it turns into something far more damaging, a subtle thief. It steals the warmth, drive, and closeness your body is still fully capable of feeling even well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. And here's where things get even more important. Even if you're spacing things out, even if you're giving yourself time to rest, there's one habit that can continue to undermine everything from the inside out. It doesn't start in the body, it starts in the brain. And for many older men, it may be the biggest reason they feel increasingly disconnected from true intimacy. Let's take a look at what that is. If this is making sense and hitting home, just type 1 in the comments, because what we're about to explore in Mistake 4 may shift how you see yourself and your intimacy from this day forward. Mistake 4. Relying on porn, rewiring the brain, replacing real intimacy. This part of the conversation is never easy, not because of embarrassment, but because of what it often reveals: deep loneliness. Most of the older men I talk to aren't turning to porn for excitement anymore. They're turning to it to fill a space inside, to chase a spark that once came naturally, without effort. But that chase becomes a loop, and long before they realize it, the effects are already underway: quiet, subtle, and incredibly disruptive. Porn today isn't what it was decades ago. It's faster, more extreme, designed to hijack your attention and overstimulate your brain in ways no real-life connection can match. And for a man over 62, that kind of stimulation can begin to rewire how your brain experiences pleasure. Your dopamine system becomes dulled. Your arousal responses shift toward fantasy instead of connection. And little by little, your body becomes less responsive to actual intimaterial skin, real touch, real love. I've had men sit across from me, their voices breaking as they admit, "I can't feel anything with my partner anymore. It's like something inside me shut off." They're not broken. They've been conditioned. And that conditioning interferes with one of the most crucial systems in the male body blood flow. Let me explain. Your brain is the command center for your entire circulatory system. It sends the signals that tell your blood where to go and when. But when that command center is flooded again and again with artificial stimulation, the natural signaling process gets confused. The pathways that once led to healthy arousal begin to misfire or stop firing at all. Over time, this can shrink your emotional capacity, disrupt your nervous system, and weaken blood flow to your pelvic region. Erections become less dependable, and what should feel like a gift, a moment of connection, starts to feel like a burden. The more you depend on porn, the more your body forgets how to engage with real human intimacy. And after 62, when every signal and every vessel matters more than ever, that disconnection doesn't just affect your bedroom, it affects your sense of manhood. This isn't about shame, it's about clarity. Your mind and body still want to feel deeply. But first, you need to reclaim control. You need to disrupt the habits that have numbed your sensitivity and start reintroducing the kind of experiences that rebuild, not drain, your circulation, confidence, and sense of connection. And it begins with a choice you need to make today. Because the longer you delay, the further you drift from the version of yourself you once knew. Change can't wait for the right time. The truth is, there's no better moment than now. I've watched countless men, good, resilient, well-meaning men, wait too long. They sensed something was off. Their energy waned, their passion faded, their desire slipped into silence. But they told themselves, "I'll deal with it later." And later never came. If you're over 62 and any of this rings true for you, let this be your wake-up call. Don't wait, not another day. Now, that doesn't mean you need to turn your world upside down. It doesn't mean suppressing what brings you joy. It means shifting how you relate to your pleasure, approaching it with care, with attention, with partnership, rather than pressure. And the encouraging part? Your body can still adapt, often faster than you expect if you just give it a chance. Start by slowing things down. Make those quiet moments something you experience rather than escape through. Focus on your breath. Relax your muscles. Tune into sensation, not just the end goal. If you usually depend on visual cues, try changing the script. Reconnect through memory, imagination, or simple, mindful touch. That single change alone can start to calm your nervous system and bring balance back to your arousal pathways. Give yourself the space to rest between sessions. Let your body regenerate. Let desire return at its own pace. Healthy self-pleasure should never leave you feeling drained or numb. Done with intention, it can become a source of vitality instead of depletion. And most crucially, if intense pornography has become your default, consider stepping away. I know it's not easy, but reducing your reliance on artificial intensity can help you feel again emotionally, physically, intimately. Your nervous system will begin to reset. Blood flow will improve. Your sense of closeness will return. What you thought had faded might simply be waiting to reawaken. You are not too old. You are not beyond help. In fact, some of the most powerful connected years of your life may still lie ahead, but it all hinges on one thing: choosing to act now. A single shift can cascade into every area of your life: how you feel, how you connect, how you show up in the world. After 6 decades in men's health, I've come to believe that most men don't need another pill or empty promise. They need honesty, they need direction, and they need someone to remind them of their strength. In a moment, I'll walk you through exactly what that next step looks like, so you don't repeat the quiet mistakes that brought you here. Let's finish this together. You're not alone in this. If you're still here reading this, I want to speak to you not just as a doctor, but as someone who truly cares about your well-being, your relationships, and how you experience the world. Because everything we've discussed today isn't just about one habit, it's about blood flow, confidence, and the private routines that gradually shape the way you feel, think, and connect. I understand that these topics can feel uncomfortable. Most men have spent their whole lives without ever hearing a professional speak openly about this. But that silence has done more harm than good, and it's time we change that. The truth is, the 4 habits we've explored, rushing through the moment, holding tension, not allowing recovery, and relying on artificial stimulation, aren't just routines. They're quiet disruptors of circulation, emotional energy, and intimacy as we age. And yet, the most important thing I want you to take away is this: these patterns are not permanent. They can be reversed. Your circulation can improve. Your spark can come back. That deep, connected kind of intimacy you thought was out of reach, it's still possible. The way forward begins with small but powerful shifts. Slow down. Breathe deeper. Rest when your body asks for it. And above all, choose intention over impulse. These aren't just health tips, they're anchors for reclaiming your strength. I've seen men in their late 70s and beyond recover what they thought had slipped away for good. Not because of some miracle cure, but because they changed the way they approached their own body. You're not past your prime. You're not too late. And you are definitely not alone. There are thousands of men out there just like you who once thought decline was inevitable. Now, they live with more connection, energy, and clarity than they ever expected, simply because they made a different choice. This is your life, your body, your story, and you get to decide what the next chapter will be. Will you repeat the same old patterns, or will you start fresh, with clarity and intention? You have the power to choose. And if no one's reminded you lately, let me be the first to say it. You still have strength, you still have time, and you are absolutely worth caring for. If this message resonated with you, don't let it slip away. Tap that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay connected, because I'll be sharing more honest, practical guidance designed specifically for men like you. And if you're ready to take the first step toward restoring your health and intimacy, type "still standing strong" in the comments. Let me know you're with me. You're not alone in this, and the journey back to feeling whole again, it starts right now. Stay curious, stay grounded, stay strong. The next video may be the one that shifts everything for you.